Ladies and gentlemen, let us journey back in time. Back in time over 2 millennia, and possibly even further beyond, to an era where the ancient Hopewell culture thrived in what is now Ohio. Among the vast network of ceremonial earthworks, the Hopewell culture left behind a profound, significant site known as the Tremper Earthworks, and this site was unearthed and studied extensively in the early 20th century. This archaeological site still continues to astonish researchers with its complexity, its artistry, and its connections to a broader network of trade and potentially ritual across ancient North America. But to truly appreciate its significance, we must dig into the details of its excavation, its remarkable finds, and its intriguing ties to the Feurt Hill Pipestone Quarry. The story of Tremper Earthworks began to unfold in earnest in 1915 when archaeologist William C. Mills undertook its first formal excavation, and this was located near what is now Portsmouth, Ohio. Tremper stood as a testament to the ingenuity and spirituality of the Hopewell people. Its centerpiece was a crescent-shaped mound spanning over 250 feet in length and rising several feet above the surrounding landscape. And Mills, the archaeologist, was meticulous in his work, where he carefully documented his findings and shed light on the site that had long intrigued local residents for many years. As Mills began to dig into the mound, he made a startling discovery. Beneath the surface laid a series of stone-lined burial chambers, and within these burial chambers were the cremated remains of dozens of individuals, suggesting that the Tremper site was a site of significant mortuary activity, probably a sacred site, if you will. And there's a lot of speculation that these burials could potentially be even older than the Hopewell culture, as the Hopewell culture didn't necessarily cremate their dead as often as, say, the predecessors of the Hopewell culture, the Adena culture. The Adena culture were much more known for cremating their dead, although there were instances of both in both cultures. Nonetheless, this was no ordinary burial ground. Alongside the human remains were, of course, the stunning array of artifacts often found within these burial chambers, and those artifacts would include things like finely crafted tools, different ornaments, sometimes made of exotic materials like copper, and most notably in this earthworks case, the Tremper Earthworks, ceremonial pipes that were carved from a vibrant red material that was quarried locally, known as Pipestone. And these pipes, numbering over 500 in total, were unlike anything else anybody had ever seen before. They depicted a variety of animals often common in Hopewell culture, like frogs, birds, bears, and even other mythical creatures that rendered an astonishing engineering capability and an astonishing precision to make some of these things. The level of detail was so lifelike that one could almost imagine the animals springing to life, especially back in ancient days. These pipes were probably more than just mere objects. They were more or less symbolic tools that were likely used in rituals to connect the living with the spiritual world, and they were also fairly important within these people's trade networks. The story of Tremper doesn't end with its remarkable artifacts. One of the most intriguing aspects of the site is, of course, its connection to a broader network of trade and resource acquisition, exemplified by the use of this pipestone. Initially, Mills and other archaeologists and researchers believed that the pipestone used at Tremper Earthworks came exclusively from the famed quarries at Pipestone National Monument in Minnesota. This site, still sacred to many indigenous people today, is renowned for its soft redstone ideal for carving. However, modern scientific analysis, including geochemical studies, has revealed a bit of a more complex picture. Now, we enter the Fuert Hill Pipestone Quarry, located not far from Tremper in present-day Scioto County, Ohio. This lesser-known site played a crucial role in the Hopewell's pipestone artistry. recent research of the Tremper pipes revealed that many were not made from the Minnesota Pipestone, but instead from local sources like Fuert Hill here in Ohio. This finding would challenge earlier assumptions and highlights the ingenuity of the Hopewell people in utilizing regional materials while maintaining connections to distant trade networks. Feurt Hill, though often overshadowed by its more famous counterpart in Minnesota, still holds its own significance. The quarry was a source of a distinct type of red and gray pipestone, slightly harder than its Minnesota counterpart, but equally workable. The presence of Fuert Hill Pipestone at the Tremper Earthworks suggests that the Hopewell people were adept at balancing local resource use with long-distance trade. It also underscores the spiritual importance of the material itself. Regardless of its origin, to these people, what we now call the Hopewell people, the act of quarrying this pipestone was likely a sacred endeavor, if you will, and it was likely imbued with ritual significance, especially in engineering and crafting the pipes. You have to assume that there was some sort of religious aspect to making a lot of these pipes. So, the Tremper Earthworks and its connections to Fuert Hill Pipestone reveal much more about the Hopewell's cultural and social complexity. The burial practices observed at the Tremper Earthworks would suggest that a society would have defined social hierarchies of some sort, while certain individuals, likely leaders or spiritual figures, were honored with elaborate funerary rites. The inclusion of pipes and other grave goods points to a belief in an afterlife and the importance of equipping the deceased for their spiritual journey. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of Tremper is the sheer scale of the Hopewell's interconnected world. The presence of materials from both local quarries like Fuert Hill and distant sources like Minnesota indicates a vast network of exchange spanning hundreds of miles, potentially even thousands of miles. Now, this network wasn't just about trade. It was about the exchange of ideas, rituals, and different cultural practices. And through this lens, the Tremper Earthworks becomes more than just a regional phenomena. It becomes a node in a continent-spanning web of interaction from ancient times. And as archaeologists continue to study sites like Tremper and Fuert Hill, new questions still emerge. What drove the Hopewell to create such intricate and symbolic artifacts? How did they sustain their far-reaching trade networks without modern transportation? And what can their achievements teach us about the resilience and creativity of ancient human societies? Standing at the Tremper Earthworks today, one cannot help but feel a sense of wonder. The earthworks' crescent shape aligns with celestial events, hinting at an advanced understanding of astronomy, like many of the earthworks found scattered throughout the region. The artifacts unearthed there also speak to a people that were deeply connected to their environment, and more than likely to each other abroad. And the very act of excavating this site, of uncovering its layers and layers of history, reminds us of the enduring human quest to understand our past. So the next time you encounter a seemingly ordinary rock, make sure to take a close look, because it may just be an ordinary artifact. Or it could be an unordinary artifact. You never know. Whether it be in a museum or in the field, remember, the stories artifacts hold are cherished throughout time. Think about the hands that shaped it, the lives that it touched, and the networks it traversed. At sites like Tremper Earthworks and Fuert Hill, these stories whisper to us across the ages of time, urging us to listen closely, and to learn, and to marvel at the ingenuity of those who came before us, the great ancients. So, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment below what you thought about this, and if you have anything cool to make a video about that pertains to ancient history, please recommend it to me, because there's a good chance that I might cover it in my next video. So again, it has been Doogie from Doogie's Earthworks. I love you guys. Thank you very much for watching, for all the support lately. It means the absolute world to me. Goodbye.